I know one of the things with money moves and financial freedom and generational wealth, we're going to talk about the 3 tips for you, D Lyman crew. One tip number one is educate yourself about your personal finances. And just like B, like you said, the psychology of money,
Mm-hmm.
learning, understanding where you are with it, that's
Mm-hmm.
important. There are many resources available to help you manage your money, but you also have to mentally figure
Right.
out how you view money
Mm-hmm.
and work on that. Because if you your views are skewed, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be right back to nowhere.
Exactly.
Tip number two is budget. Ah,
Yeah.
right? Budget. Track your spending. Know where your money goes and make informed decisions. I think one of the things that I do is the beginning of the year
Mm-hmm.
is those auto things that hit your account that just
Mm-hmm.
come out.
Yes.
I think it's good to assess at the beginning of the year or at least once a quarter, like
Mm-hmm.
what is hitting, what don't I need, what don't I
Right.
use.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And just put yourself on a budget and listen, it's a little hard at first, but then it becomes a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes easier after over time. And then third tip for you is invest in your future.
Mm-hmm.
Start small, build a nest egg for the future for financial security. They always tell you you should have 6 months or 3 months in
Mm-hmm.
reserve. We're not telling you what to do with your finances. Definitely go out there and do your own research. But you also want to have your money not only in a bank but in a high interest yield
Mm-hmm.
account as
Mm-hmm.
well too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have a 6 months, 3 months saving, the reason why you put it in a high interest yield savings account is because you make more
Mm-hmm.
return on your money than in a regular bank. So if
Mm-hmm.
at least you're going to have that money sitting as your emergency money,
Mm-hmm.
you want to put it in an interest bearing account, right?
Yes.
A high yield interest
Mm-hmm.
bearing account. Invest in your money. If you have on your job, you have 401k, invest in 401k.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to your company match, always match what the company is matching because that's
Mm-hmm.
money on the table
Right.
that you're just leaving there.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conversation with some of the ladies on my team, the younger ones, to like sign up for 401k. It's
Mm-hmm.
free money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I got through to one of 3 of them. I was pleasantly surprised that the youngest one, she
Mm-hmm.
immediately like left the meeting and did it right away. And by the end of the day, she was like, Lisa, I did it. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
what I expected from the
Right.
younger one, but
Right.
whatever.
But I think
But
that
that's
that's a
money on the
yeah,
table.
and that's a testament to like the next generation. They want to be
Mhm.
financial independent. They don't want to work.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised because they're not trying to work as hard as we.
No.
They are
Mm-mm.
not trying
No.
to work as hard.
No.
You telling them I gotta work this hard to make. They ain't trying to do that for y'all. So for me, I feel like
No.
I gauge that. But as women, also, I want
Mhm.
to add this because this season is about women, and we're talking about it from a woman's perspective. Is understanding the history of until 1970 something, women were not allowed to even have a bank account, right? Like you told me that, and then I've also
Yeah.
read different story. There was a documentary they were talking about that, like talking about like with money. So as women, like Lisa is saying, invest in your future because our mothers and their mothers couldn't even do that. So we
Yep.
have to take full
Yep.
advantage of investing in ourselves and learning these things because the women before us, we could talk about, they didn't talk about financial literacy, but it's probably because they couldn't. They had to depend on their husband, depend on all these
Yeah.
things. So now we have tools and resources, and we are able to walk into a bank and get a bank account and learn about money and do it for ourselves. So I think it's
Mhm.
very important to invest in your future that way because the women before us couldn't take
Yeah.
certain action and step like we can. So I wanted to
Exactly.
add that point to that.
Yeah.